Well, folks, it turns out you really like hearing me ramble about fictional characters while you fall asleep. And honestly, that's perfect, because I love doing it. And today we're diving into the cozy, wild, sometimes heartbreaking, sometimes hilarious story of one of the most beloved animated heroes of all time, Finn the Human. You know him, you love him. The last known human, well, sort of. The brave kid with a backpack too big for him, a sword he can barely swing, and a heart that's somehow even bigger than his backpack. Today we're going through Finn's entire story from the original Adventure Time series. So if you're getting comfy, maybe tucked into bed, maybe a fireplace sound playing in the background, you're in exactly the right place. Let's start at the very beginning. Finn's earliest memories are of being a little baby, crawling around, abandoned in the woods of the land of Oo. Yeah, heavy right out of the gate. He doesn't remember where he came from or who left him there. But what he does remember is falling face first into a big messy pile of mud and crying until someone found him. That someone turned out to be Joshua and Margaret, two heroic talking dogs, a husband and wife duo who acted sort of like local adventurers or problem solvers in Oo. And instead of leaving this muddy, crying little baby alone, they took him home. Joshua and Margaret already had two kids, Jake and Jermaine, both magical talking dogs themselves. But that didn't stop them. They raised Finn like one of their own. In every way that matters, Joshua and Margaret are Finn's true parents. So Finn grew up in the tree fort with his brother Jake, who, as we know, has the magical ability to stretch into pretty much any shape or size. From the very beginning, Jake was Finn's best friend, protector, and partner in crime. Well, partner in adventures, I guess. And that's really what Finn always wanted. Adventure. From a very young age, Finn was obsessed with being a hero, and not just the strong or cool kind of hero, but the kind who helps people no matter what. One of the most important moments of Finn's early life was when he made a personal vow. I will help anyone in need, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how scared I am. It's a simple promise, but it defines Finn more than almost anything else. And through every weird monster, every messed up kingdom, every personal heartbreak, Finn keeps trying to live up to that code. It's important to remember, Adventure Time can be silly, colorful, and random. But at the center of it all is this pure-hearted kid who just wants to do the right thing, even when it's hard, even when it hurts. When the series starts, Finn is around 12 years old, still short, still squeaky-voiced, still growing into his gangly body. He and Jake, who's a little older, a little lazier, and a lot stretchier, live together in the iconic tree fort, and their daily life, pretty much wake up, eat weird food, beat up some monsters, save a princess or two, call it a day. But Finn's biggest motivation early on is simple. He wants to be a hero because it's the right thing to do. There's this purity to early Finn that's honestly really soothing to revisit. When he fights villains like the Ice King or saves people like the Candy Kingdom citizens, it's never because he expects a reward or fame. It's just what he feels called to do. Ice King, by the way, is kind of Finn's first big enemy, although enemy might be a strong word. At this point, Ice King is mostly just a sad, lonely old wizard who keeps trying to kidnap princesses to force them to marry him. Yeah, it's weird. It's Adventure Time, folks. But Finn's sense of right and wrong is crystal clear. You don't steal people. You don't force someone to love you. And you sure as heck don't hurt people who can't fight back. Now, early on, Finn has a pretty massive crush on Princess Bubblegum. She's smart, strong, and the ruler of the Candy Kingdom. A whole kingdom made entirely of candy people. But Bubblegum is a little older, like way older when you factor in her complicated lore, and she mostly sees Finn as a cute little hero kid. Still, there's this adorable dynamic between them in the early seasons. Finn tries to impress her. He writes her cringy songs. He gets super flustered around her. It's the kind of innocent, awkward crush that a lot of people can probably relate to from their own early teen years. And Adventure Time plays it really sweetly. Never creepy, never gross, just pure-hearted kid admiration. But this also sets up one of the most important lessons Finn has to learn as he grows up. Sometimes love isn't simple. Sometimes it isn't returned the way you want it to be. And that's okay. Finn will learn that lesson, painfully but importantly. Over time, Finn starts to grow, literally and figuratively. He gets taller, his voice deepens a bit, his fighting skills sharpen. We start seeing him use a series of increasingly cool swords. The golden sword, which he eventually loses. The root sword, simple but trusty. Later on, the weird and beautiful demon blood sword that has its own tragic backstory tied to his adopted dad, Joshua. Every sword Finn wields kind of represents a phase of his life. The more complicated the sword gets, the more complicated Finn's own life becomes. But through it all, Finn's commitment to being good, to doing good, never really fades. If anything, it becomes harder as he gets older, because doing the right thing stops being black and white. And that's one of the beautiful things about Finn's character arc. He starts as a boy who thinks he can punch his way to justice, and slowly becomes a young man who realizes that real heroism is messy. It's confusing. It's full of heartbreak and compromise. Now, you'd think being the last human would make Finn feel pretty special. But the truth is, he feels incredibly lonely sometimes. He doesn't know where he came from, why he was abandoned, why he's different from everybody else. And Adventure Time slowly, very slowly, starts to answer those questions across the series. We eventually learn that Finn's biological father is Martin Mertens, a selfish, irresponsible con man. Finn meets him after years of wondering about his real family. And the reunion is, well, it's heartbreaking. Martin isn't the heroic figure Finn imagined. He's a coward. He literally abandons Finn again after they meet. And watching Finn try to process that, trying to reconcile the dream of who his father might be with the painful reality, is one of the saddest parts of his journey. It's not loud sadness, though. It's quiet, lingering, the kind of sadness that makes you grow up whether you want to or not. As Finn gets older, his relationships get way more complicated too. After Princess Bubblegum becomes less of a romantic possibility, Finn starts a relationship with Flame Princess, an actual elemental princess made of living fire. Their romance is adorable, at first. Flame Princess brings out a different side of Finn. He's gentler with her, more careful, but their relationship eventually falls apart because Finn makes a huge mistake. He tries to manipulate her emotions for the sake of an experiment, to see if she could become more powerful. It's a massive betrayal of her trust, and it's one of the first times Finn really messes up in a way that hurts someone he cares about. He doesn't mess up because he's evil. He messes up because he's immature and curious and selfish in that small, accidental way that teenagers can be. And when Flame Princess breaks up with him, Finn doesn't fight it. He accepts it. He grows from it. It's so quietly powerful, honestly. The show never turns it into some big, melodramatic thing. It just shows a young man learning that actions have consequences, and that sometimes, even when you're sorry, you can't fix everything. All right, let's talk about Finn's arm. Because if you know anything about Adventure Time lore, you know Finn's right arm is a big deal. It's hinted at very early in the series, through visions, dreams, prophecies, that Finn will lose his arm someday, and the symbol of that loss is the grass sword. Finn gets cursed with the grass sword kind of by accident after a merchant tricks him into buying it. At first it seems awesome, a living sword that can sprout from his arm, but over time it becomes clear that it's a double-edged sword, no pun intended. The grass sword has a mind of its own, it's uncontrollable, and eventually it fuses with Finn's body permanently. This leads to the events with the grass demon, and even later, the creation of Fern the human, a grass clone of Finn himself. But we'll get to that soon. The important thing for now is, Finn's relationship with his arm and the grass sword becomes a metaphor for how he deals with trauma, change, and parts of himself he can't fully control. It's beautiful storytelling, honestly, and it's all wrapped up in something as simple as a boy and his sword. Over the seasons, Finn's heroism matures. He stops being just the kid who charges into danger swinging a sword. He starts thinking. He starts empathizing. He starts asking himself, am I actually helping people by fighting, or am I just feeding my own ego? Episodes like The Hall of Egress, where Finn has to find his way out of a mystical labyrinth by trusting himself blindly. They show how Adventure Time used fantasy to tell really deep personal stories about growing up. In The Mountain, Finn learns that sometimes helping people means not fighting their battles for them. In Puhoi, we even get a glimpse of a possible future where Finn lives a whole lifetime in an alternate pillow world, getting married, raising a family, growing old, and then waking up back in his own world, still a boy. It's a reminder that life is fleeting, that time passes whether you're ready or not, and that growing up isn't something you can fight, only something you can accept. No story about Finn would be complete without talking about the Lich. The Lich is the purest form of evil in the Adventure Time universe, an ancient being of death and decay, one that Finn has to face multiple times across the series. And the thing is, the Lich isn't some simple monster you can just punch really hard. He's existential dread made real. He represents everything Finn is afraid of. A world where no one is safe. A future where good doesn't always win. A fight you can't just sword swing your way out of. In episodes like Mortal Folly and The Lich, Finn confronts the fact that being a hero isn't about fighting cool monsters. It's about standing up to impossible darkness even when you're terrified. And in one of the series' most surreal turns, they end up trapping the Lich by accidentally creating a whole new timeline where he's turned into a harmless, bumbling baby named Sweet Pea. Classic Adventure Time move. Take your ultimate evil and give it a fresh start. It's a strange kind of comforting thought, actually, that even the worst things can be reborn into something good. Remember that grass sword and the curse attached to it? Well, eventually it leads to the creation of Fern, a grass clone of Finn. At first, Fern seems like a blessing. He's strong, heroic, loyal. But it doesn't take long for Fern's darker side to emerge. He's everything Finn fears he might become. Jealous, violent, lost. When Finn has to fight Fern, it's not just a battle against another warrior. It's a battle against himself, against the parts of him that feel broken, angry, and alone. And the sad truth is, Fern wants to be Finn. He wants the love, the friendships, the meaning that Finn has built over the years. But he can't have it because he isn't truly his own person. Their conflict is tragic. Not good versus evil, just two boys who want to be whole. In the end, Fern doesn't find peace through violence. He finds it when Finn shows him mercy. Finn plants Fern's remains under the tree fort, and from Fern's essence, a beautiful new tree grows. It's such a quietly powerful ending. Forgiveness, growth, the cycle of endings and beginnings. At the end of the day, Adventure Time is many things, but at its heart, it's the story of a boy and his dog. Finn and Jake's bond is the true center of everything. They laugh together, they cry together, they face monsters, apocalypses, heartbreaks, and weird interdimensional politics together. Through every high and low, Jake is Finn's constant, his grounding force, his big brother, his best friend, his home. And while Jake often plays the comic relief, he's also one of the most emotionally intelligent characters in the series. When Finn faces heartbreak, when he loses Flame Princess, when he feels abandoned by Martin, Jake doesn't lecture him. He doesn't try to fix it, he just sits with him. He reminds him that he's loved, that it's okay to be sad, that growing up is messy and you don't have to do it alone. It's honestly one of the healthiest depictions of brotherhood and friendship in animation. And it's part of why Adventure Time still means so much to so many people, even years later. Which brings us to the series finale, Come Along With Me. After years of adventures, battles, heartbreaks, and victories, Finn is older now, wiser, not jaded, not bitter, just grown. When a final war breaks out in Ooh, the gum war between Princess Bubblegum's Candy Kingdom and Uncle Gumball's forces, Finn does something extraordinary. He stops the war not by fighting, but by appealing to everyone's shared humanity. He uses compassion, understanding, and a little magical dream bubble to make peace possible. Finn, the boy who once swung swords first and asked questions later, becomes Finn, the young man who saves the world without violence. It's so beautifully full circle. And it shows how much he's grown without losing the good heart he started with. At the end of Adventure Time, we glimpse into the distant future of Ooh. Long after Finn, Jake, Princess Bubblegum, all the characters we know are gone. The world has changed. The land has shifted. New heroes rise, new adventures begin. But in the ruins of the old tree fort, in the history written into the land itself, Finn's legacy still echoes. The idea of kindness, of adventure, of being brave, even when you're scared, of helping people simply because it's right. That spirit survives. The world may change 1,000 times over, but the goodness Finn put into it never really fades. And that's one of the most beautiful ideas Adventure Time leaves us with. You don't have to save the world forever. You don't have to be remembered forever. You just have to try. And sometimes that's enough. If I had to summarize Finn's entire arc in one thought, it would be this. He starts off believing that heroes win by swinging swords and defeating monsters. He ends up realizing that heroes win by understanding, by forgiveness, by accepting change and loving deeply, even when it hurts. Finn doesn't become perfect. He doesn't get a neat, tied-up ending. He still has scars, he still has questions, but he becomes someone who can carry those things and still move forward with hope. And in the end, that's real heroism. Not the kind you find in fairy tales, but the kind you find in real life. Quiet, gentle, enduring. As the final episode draws to a close, we hear one of the most iconic songs in the show, Come Along With Me. A soft, simple tune that carries a massive amount of emotional weight. Come along with me, and the butterflies and bees, we can wander through the forest and do so as we please. It's a song about journeys, about friendship, about the small, sweet moments that make life worth living, even in a world full of chaos and change. It's a song that perfectly captures Finn's heart. Open, hopeful, brave, and it's a perfect lullaby for drifting off to sleep. Just like Finn, maybe we don't know exactly what tomorrow holds, but we keep walking anyway. We keep adventuring. We keep growing together. And that is the story of Finn the human. A muddy little baby who became a knight, a hero, a brother, a friend, and who along the way helped heal a broken world just by being himself. Thanks for coming along with me. I hope you're feeling cozy, calm, maybe even a little sleepy. And wherever your own adventures take you, I hope you remember to be a little brave, a little kind, and a little curious, just like Finn. Good night, adventurers. Sleep well.